The Western Satraps, a Western Kshatrapa, or Kshaharatas, were Saka rulers of the western and central part of India. They were contemporaneous with the Kushans, who ruled the northern part of the Indian subcontinent and were possibly their overlords, and the Satavahana, who ruled in central India. They are called Western, in contrast to the northern Indo-Scythian satraps who ruled in the area of Mathura, such as Rajuvula and his successors under the Kushans, the great satrap Karapalana, and the satrap Vanispara, although they called themselves satraps on their coins, leading to their modern designation of Western satraps. Ptolemy in his 2nd century Geographia still called them Indo-Scythians. The power of the Saka rulers started to decline in the 2nd century CE after the Saka rulers were defeated by the South Indian Emperor Gautamiputra Satakani of the Satavahana dynasty. Later the Saka kingdom was completely destroyed by Chandragupta II of the Gupta Empire in the 4th century CE. Altogether, there were 27 independent Western satrap rulers during a period of about 350 years. The word Kshatrapa stands for satrap, itself descended from Old Persian and which means viceroy or governor of a province. History. First expansion. Kshaharata dynasty. The Western satraps are thought to have started with the rather short-lived Kshaharata dynasty. The term Kshaharata is also known from the 06 CE Taxila copperplate inscription, in which it qualifies the Indo-Scythian ruler Kushulakar. The Nashik inscription of the 19th year of Sri Pulimavi also mentions the Kshaharatas, or Kshaharata race. The earliest Kshaharata for whom there is evidence is Abaraka, whose rare coins are known. He was succeeded by Bhumakar, father of Nahapana, who only used on his coins the title of satrap, and not that of Raja or Rano. Bhumakar was the father of the great ruler Nahapana, according to one of the latter's coins. His coins bear Buddhist symbols, such as the 8-spoked wheel, or the lion seated on a capital, a representation of a pillar of Ashoka. Nahapana succeeded to him, and became a very powerful ruler. He occupied portions of the Satavahana Empire in western and central India. Nahapana held sway over Malwa, southern Gujarat, and northern Konkan, from Broch to Sopara and the Nashik and Pune districts. His son-in-law, the Saka Shavadata, is known from inscriptions in Nashik and Kul to have been viceroy of Nahapana, ruling over the southern part of his territory. Nahapana is mentioned in the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea under the name Numbernis, as ruler of the area around Baragaza. 41. Beyond the Gulf of Baraka is that of Baragaza and the coast of the country of Ariaka, which is the beginning of the kingdom of Numbernis and of all India. That part of it lying inland and adjoining Scythia is called Abiria, but the coast is called Saurashtra. It is a fertile country, yielding wheat and rice and sesame oil and clarified butter, cotton and the Indian cloths made therefrom, of the coarser sorts. Very many cattle are pastured there, and the men are of great stature and black in color. The metropolis of this country is Minagara, from which much cotton cloth is brought down to Baragaza. Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, Chap. 41. Under the Western satraps, Baragaza was one of the main centers of Roman trade with India. The Periplus describes the many goods exchanged. 49. There are imported into this market town, wine, Italian preferred, also Laodicean and Arabian, copper, tin, and lead, coral and topaz, thin clothing and inferior sorts of all kinds, bright-colored girdles a cubit wide, storax, sweet clover, flint glass, realga, antimony, gold and silver coin, on which there is a profit when exchanged for the money of the country, and ointment, but not very costly and not much. And for the king there are brought into those places very costly vessels of silver, singing boys, beautiful maidens for the harem, fine wines, thin clothing of the finest weaves, and the choicest ointments. There are exported from these places spikenard, kossues, bdellium, ivory, agate and carnelian, lycium, cotton cloth of all kinds, silk cloth, mallow cloth, yarn, long pepper and such other things as are brought here from the various market towns. Those bound for this market town from Egypt make the voyage favorably about the month of July, that is Epipha, Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Chapter 48. Goods were also brought down in quantity from Ujjain, the capital of the Western Satraps. 48. Inland from this place and to the east, is the city called Duzan, formerly a royal capital. From this place are brought down all things needed for the welfare of the country about Beri Gaza, and many things for our trade, agate and carnelian, Indian muslins and mallow cloth, and much ordinary cloth. Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Chapter 48. Some ships were also fitted out from Baragaza, to export goods westward across the Indian Ocean. Ships are also customarily fitted out from the places across this sea, from Ariaka and Baragaza, bringing to these far side market towns the products of their own places: wheat, rice, clarified butter, sesame oil, cotton cloth, and girdles, and honey from the reed called sakari. Some make the voyage especially to these market towns, and others exchange their cargoes while sailing along the coast. Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Chapter 14. Nahapana also established the silver coinage of the Kshatrapa. Nahapana and Ushavadata were ultimately defeated by the powerful Satavahana king Gautamiputra Satakani. Gautamiputra drove the Sakas from Malwa and western Maharashtra, forcing Nahapana west to Gujarat. Gautamiputra restruck many of Nahapana's coins. Kardama Car Dynasty, family of Kastana. A new dynasty, called the Bhadramukhas or Kardama Car Dynasty, was established by the satrap Kastana. The date of Kastana is not certain, but many believe his reign started in the year 78 CE, thus making him the founder of the Saka era. This is consistent with the fact that his descendants would use the date of their founder as their era. Kastana was satrap of Ujjain during that period. A statue found in Mathura together with statues of the Kushan king Kanishka and Vimatakshu, and bearing the name of Shastana, is often attributed to Kastana himself, and suggests Kastana may have been a feudatory of the Kushans. Conversely, the Rabatak inscription also claims Kushan dominion over Western Satrap territory, during the reign of Kanishka. Territory under Chastana. The territory of the Western Satraps at the time of Chastana is described extensively by the geographer Ptolemy in his Geographia, where he qualifies them as Indo-Scythians. He describes this territory as starting from Pataline in the west, to Ujjain in the east, and beyond Baragaza in the south. Moreover, the region which is next to the western part of India is called Indoscythia. A part of this region around the river mouth is Patalina, above which is Iberia. That which is about the mouth of the Indus and the Kantha-Kalpas Bay is called Sirastrana. In the island formed by this river are the cities Pantala, Barbaria. The Laraka region of Indoscythia is located eastward from the swamp near the sea, in which on the west of the Namadis River is the interior city of Berigazu Emporium. On the east side of the river Ozina Regati Astani Minagara. Ptolemy Geographia, Book 7, Chapter 1. Victory against the Satavahanas. Rudradaman I around 130 CE. Rudradaman I, grandson of Chastana, took the title Mahakshatrapa, and defended his kingdom from the Satavahanas. The conflict between Rudradaman and Satavahanas became so grueling, that in order to contain the conflict, a matrimonial relationship was concluded by giving Rudradaman's daughter to the Satavahana king Vashishthiputra Satakani. The Satavahanas and the Western Satraps remained at war however, and Rudradaman I defeated the Satavahanas twice in these conflicts, only sparing the life of Vashishthiputra Satakani due to their family alliance. Rudradaman, who obtained good reports because he, in spite of having twice in fair fight, completely defeated Satakani, the lord of Dakshinapatha. On account of the nearness of their connection, did not destroy him. Junagadh rock inscription. Rudradaman regained all the previous territories held by Nahapana, except for the southern areas of Pune and Nashik. Rudradaman, who is the lord of the whole of eastern and western Akaravanti, the Anupa country, Anarta, Saurashtra, Svabra, Maru, Ketchar, Sindhusovira, Kukura, Aparanta, Nishada and other territories gained by his own valor, the towns, marts and rural parts of which are never troubled by robbers, snakes, wild beasts, diseases and the like, where all subjects are attached to him, where through his might the objects of religion, wealth and pleasure are duly attained. Junagadh rock inscription. Geographical interpretations in parenthesis from Rapson. Recently discovered pillar inscriptions describe the presence of a Western satrap named Rupiamma in the Bandara district of the area of Vidarbha, in the extreme northeastern area of Maharashtra, where he erected the pillars. Rudradaman is known for his sponsoring of the arts. He is known to have written poetry in the purest of Sanskrit, and made it his court language. His name is forever attached to the inscription by Sudarshini Lake. He had at his court a Greek writer named Javanisvara, who translated from Greek to Sanskrit the Yavanajataka, an astrological treatise and India's earliest Sanskrit work in horoscopy. Defeat against the Satavahanas. Yajnashree Satakani. The South Indian ruler Yajnashree Satakani of the Satavahana dynasty defeated the Western Satraps in the late 2nd century CE, which led to a decline in the power of the ruling dynasty. Rudrasena II. The Kshatrapa dynasty seems to have reached a high level of prosperity under the rule of Rudrasena II, 19th ruler of Kshatrapa. The last Kshatrapa ruler of the Chastana family was Visvasena, brother and successor to Bhartaman and son of Rudrasena II. A new family took over, started by the rule of Rudrasimha II, son of Lord Jivadaman. Defeat by the Guptas. A new family took control under Rudrasimha III. A fragment from the Natya-Darpana mentions that the Gupta king Ramagupta, the elder brother of Chandragupta II, decided to expand his kingdom by attacking the Western Satraps in Gujarat. The campaign soon took a turn for the worse and the Gupta army was trapped. The Saka king, Rudrasimha III, demanded that Ramagupta hand over his wife Druvadavi in exchange for peace. To avoid the ignominy, the Guptas decide to send Madhavasena, a courtesan and a beloved of Chandragupta, disguised as the queen. However, Chandragupta changes the plan and himself goes to the Saka king disguised as the queen. He then kills Rudrasimha and later his own brother, Ramagupta. Druvadavi is then married to Chandragupta. The Western Satraps were eventually conquered by Emperor Chandragupta II. This brought an end to the rule of the Sakas on the subcontinent. Coinage. The Kshatrapa have a very rich and interesting coinage. It was based on the coinage of the earlier Indo-Greek kings, with Greek or pseudo-Greek legend and stylized profiles of royal busts on the obverse. The reverse of the coins, however, is original and typically depict a thunderbolt and an arrow, and later, a chaitya or three-arched hill and river symbol with a crescent and the sun, within a legend in Brahma. These coins are very informative, since they record the name of the king, of his father, and the date of issue, and have helped clarify the early history of India. Regnal dates from the reign of Rudrasimha I. The date of minting of each coin, reckoned in the Saka era, is usually written on the obverse behind the king's head in Brahma numerals, allowing for a quite precise datation of the rule of each king. This is a rather uncommon case in Indian numismatics. Some, such as the numismatasi senior, considered that these dates might correspond to the much earlier Aziz era instead. Also, the father of each king is systematically mentioned in the reverse legends, which allows to reconstruct the regnal succession. Languages. Kharosthi, a script in use in more northern territories. is employed together with the Brahma script and the Greek script on the first coins of the Western Satraps, but is finally abandoned from the time of Chastana. From that time, only the Brahma script would remain, together with the pseudo-Greek script on the facing, to write the Prakrit language employed by the Western Satraps. Occasionally, the legends are in Sanskrit instead. The coins of Nahapana bears the Greek script legend Panni Omega Iahapatac Nahapinac, transliteration of the Prakrit Rano Kshaharatas o Nahapanazar. In the reign of Kshaharata Nahapana, the coins of Kastana also have a readable legend Panni Omega Iatpacacciastanca, transliteration of the Prakrit Rano Kshatrapas o Kastana. In the reign of the satrap Kastana, after these two rulers, the legend in Greek script becomes denaturated, and seems to lose all signification, only retaining an aesthetic value. By the 4th century, the coins of Rudrasimha II exhibit the following type of meaningless legend in corrupted Greek script. Lambda io lambda vici vii lambda. Influences. The coins of the Kshatrapa were also very influential and imitated by neighboring or later dynasties, such as the Satavahanas and the Guptas. Silver coins of the Gupta kings Chandragupta II and his son Kumaragupta I adopted the Western satrap design with bust of the ruler and pseudo-Greek inscription on the obverse, and a royal eagle replacing the Chaitya hill with star and crescent on the reverse. The Western satrap coin design was also adopted by the subsequent dynasty of the Kshaharatas. Possible vassalage to the Kushans. It is still unclear whether the Western satraps were independent rulers or vassals of the Kushans. The continued use of the word satrap on their coin would suggest a recognized subjection to a higher ruler, possibly the Kushan emperor. Also, a statue of Chastana was found in Mathura at the temple of Mat together with the famous statues of Emacadphises and Kanishka. This also would suggest at least alliance and friendship, if not vassalage. Finally, Kanishka claims in the Rabatak inscription that his power extends to Ujjain, the classical capital of the Western satrap realm. This, combined with the presence of the Chastana statue side by side with Kanishka, would also suggest Kushan alliance with the Western satraps. Finally, northern Indo-Scythian satraps who ruled in the area of Mathura, the great satrap Karapalana and the satrap Vanispara, are known from an inscription in Sarnat to have been feudatories of the Kushans. Generally, the orientation taken by modern scholarship is that the Western satraps were vassals of the Kushan, at least in the early period until Rudradaman I conquered the Yodhayas, who are usually thought themselves as Kushan vassals. The question is not considered as perfectly settled. Main rulers: Kshaharata dynasty Yapirajaya, Hospices, Higaraka, Abaraka, Bhumika, Nahapana, Bhadramukhas or Kardama Car Dynasty family of Chastana. Chastana, son of Zamotaka. Jayadaman, son of Chastana. Rudradaman I, son of Jayadaman. Damajadishri I. Jivadaman. Rudrasimha I. Isvaradatta. Rudrasimha I. Jivadaman. Rudrasena I. Samgadaman. Damasena. Damajadishri II with Viradaman. Yasodaman I. Vijayasena. Damajadishri III. Rudrasena II. Visvasimha. Bhartaman. Visvasena. Family of Rudrasimha II. Rudrasimha II, son of Lord Jivadaman with Yasodaman II. Rudradaman II. Rudrasena III. Simpasena. Rudrasena IV. Rudrasimha III.